Right, we're going to move on. We've got to move on. Election madness. Here in the UK, it's all absolutely insane. It's gone crazy. From local elections through to these European elections that none of the media are allowed to really talk about or speculate about, in case somehow someone trying to just think, how do you think Tommy Robinson will do, will influence how some guy votes in Slovakia. Are they in Europe? Yeah, yes, sounds right. Slovak, Poland, wherever, it's going to influence them. It's bollocks, but they're the rules. I don't think we're bound by those rules.
I hope not.
I don't give a fuck.
It's too late.
Throw us in Euro prison. You know, but it's getting crazy over here. The political climate is getting crazy. We've spoken about Carl Benjamin having milkshakes thrown on him quite frequently. Well, this has spread like wildfire, obviously. Let's throw a milkshake at a fascist. As you can see, this machine kills fascists. Burger King in Scotland, when McDonald's were told not to sell milkshakes one weekend by the police, Burger King proudly announced that they're selling them and you have fun now. And people are turning up at polling stations. One woman was selling or giving away dairy-free milkshakes, which I don't get. But you see, they got around it, Graham. See, thinking. The I in milk was replaced with an asterisk. So they were dairy-free milkshakes, also known as shit. Have you ever had any of that stuff? Bollocks. It tastes like sick.
A man had a bucket in Thailand once and he gave me some of that and it was quite nice. Out of his bucket.
Dairy-free?
I don't know what it was.
I don't know if that was dairy-free milkshake, mate.
It was milk looking and he said it wasn't milk.
Was it salty?
Yeah.
Had he been collecting it for a long time?
I don't know.
Never mind. What's a bit of cum between friends? Oh, I just wanted to cover the elections. Anyway, Sargon's been covered in it. Nigel Farage. I mean, look at Sargon there. The world's biggest seagull shat on that guy. And it's been going on and on. Nigel Farage had one thrown on him. There was a report in the newspapers that he'd been surrounded on his bus and wouldn't leave his bus because he was surrounded by people with milkshakes. Turns out that was actually like actual fake news.
Oh, really?
That the BBC reported. Because people were there were going, no, look, that's not what it was. He went off and said hello to people afterwards. He did his speech from up there and then went down and met people. Now, I'm going to be honest. People throwing shit at politicians has been going on forever. Oh, look at Nigel. There we go. It doesn't bother me what. This is shit that happens. It's always happened. People throwing eggs at politicians. But what does bother me, as usual, as ever, is the ridiculous double standard. And right now it's coming from the left. They're laughing at people having milkshakes thrown at them. They're laughing that it's escalating. One old guy, an old guy, did 22 years in the army. He's an old fella now in his 60s. Looked in his 60s, might be older. He was just sat outside a polling booth with a little UKIP rosette. Milkshake. People went, right, he's a fascist. It's like, I don't know if he is a fascist. And not only that, it was then questioning whether it was faked. Yes, this man that dressed himself up neatly in a small town and went to sit outside the polling booth to chat to people, as some people do, because you get them, like Labour people and all sorts hanging around. Someone threw a fucking milkshake over the old fella. Nice, classy. But like I say, with politicians it does happen. But the narrative's getting out of hand here. The double standard is incredible. We got the newspapers encouraging people to throw shit at politicians. And this is going to escalate. And it is escalating. A councillor up in Scotland, a Tory councillor, went a bit past milkshakes. They set fire to his car and the fire spread to his house. People going, well, that's what happens to fascists. But do you remember when St. Jeremy Corbyn, the patron saint of anti-Semites, had an egg cracked on his head? Do you remember that? And even then I was like, well, it happens, you're a politician, you get shit thrown at you. People were like, no, this is actual violence. It was in his fist. Well, yeah, it was an egg, he was holding it, and he cracked it on his head. No, it was assault. Violent assault with an egg. And people really they were like that online. They were fervent in their belief that this was a terrible assault. They're the ones mocking the people on the right, I guess we're going to say now. That's the vernacular now, isn't it? So, no, it's only a milkshake. Well, that was only a fucking egg. And why was it John Prescott got a pass when that guy egged him? I mean, that was marvellous. He was Deputy Prime Minister at the time, under the Tony Blair junta, and someone threw an egg at him, and he just turned around and popped him in the mouth. Popped him in the mouth. Boom!
Yeah, it kind of just instantly balanced out that one, didn't it? Because he just had him.
But could you imagine if Nigel did that? Nigel Farage.
Fascist violence.
Just smacked some masked, spotty incel Herbert. Oh, it'd be the end of the world then, wouldn't it? Bang him up, throw away the key.
Have you seen people sharing the Ed Miliband clip where he got egged? There's an Ed Miliband clip where he gets egged on the shoulder and he just goes, "Oh, not one of my biggest fans." And someone's taking his jacket and he just carries on like a little bitch. And people are just sharing that and going, "This is how you respond to it." And it's like, "Oh, you just take it like a bitch, do you? You just get attacked in the street and go,
Isn't that what they all do, though?
Oh, I'm so sorry."
Apart from John Prescott, that's what they all do. You carry on.
Yeah, but it's no sharing it because no, they're saying like he just sort of took it, whereas Farage was whisked away by security, and they're saying Farage was sulking and running away.
He was annoyed, I imagine.
Yeah,
I would be.
And apparently that's the measure of the man, basically. The fact that
seeing as I'm often called a fascist, if anyone's watching this that's going to find me and throw a milkshake at me, two things: make sure it's chocolate and wait till my fucking mouth's open. All right. Don't just be wasting it throwing on my clothes. I'm a scruffy fucker. I don't care. Mouth open. Just give me. In fact, give me a fresh milkshake, and I'll pour the last bit down me on my own if you want. Especially one of them £5 Guys ones. Nice. Yeah. Well, that one that threw it all over Nigel Farage, he won't be buying many more of them. Well, they will because there's a crowdfunder now, and they're getting it. But yeah, this double standard's absolutely fucking ridiculous. That everyone else gets a pass except the far right, because that's what everyone is now. See, Jeremy Corbyn put a tweet out, St. Jeremy, the patron saint of anti-Semites. Real name, Jeremy Corbyn. Saying, "Help us fight the far right, vote Labour," indicating that the Brexit Party's far right. Now, when I grew up, the far right was the BNP, was the National Front, actually, not even the BNP. You know, skinheads kicking fuck out of any ethnic minority they found, hating Jews, just hateful fucking people. That was the far right. Violent, vicious. Now it's an old lady that wants to leave Europe. Doesn't hate anybody. Well, she might, I don't know, the French, whatever. But, you know, predominantly just ordinary people are now being cast as the far right. And Jeremy Corbyn said it, "Help us fight the far right." Well, like I say, when I grew up, the far right had a terrible problem with anti-Semitism. Much like Labour. The Labour Party is facing massive complaints of anti-Semitism. Reports have been put in, over 1,000 reports. I've seen some of the Labour Party members, just members, not cabinet members, posting the most heinous shit on Facebook, not getting censured for it. They're getting a free pass. So I'll tell you what, Jeremy, what I'd do, mate, is until you've got your fucking house in order, be careful throwing this far right shit about, okay? Because where I'm from, the racists and the pricks, they were all part of the far right, because we didn't have this sort of leftist, authoritarian, fascist thing around as much when I was younger. We had socialist workers, but they didn't seem to hate anybody except the wealthy. You know, they didn't hate minorities, they didn't hate Jewish, they just hated the rich, the bourgeois, the industrialists, and nobody listened to them because they were fucking socialists. You just went, "There you go, fella." And then they'd all have a strike, and the police would go and hit them with sticks, and everyone would go back to work. But it's all moved around now. All of a sudden, you're far right if you don't want to be a part of Europe, and you're being told that by a man that's overseen the darkest period in Labour's history regarding this shit. And if anyone's watching this after the fact or whatever, this is, well, the Tories have got an Islamophobia problem. Yes, so They have, and that's disgusting, and fix that as well. But it doesn't take away from the other one. I don't have to address everything to address something. It's Jeremy Corbyn, full of shit, hypocrite. There we go. I fixed Jeremy